What up, folks? Russell Corner is back.
Partially.
Partially back.
No, it's always been here. Y'all know that. We've always stop and talk about professional wrestling. And it's time for us to talk about something that's near and dear to me and Chris's heart. No, it's not to my heart. I fucking hated every second of the Brawl for All. I had hated every single. You know what? It's so funny as a kid when it came to me knowing when wrestling was fake. I knew early because everybody, wanted to be a smart ass to me in 1993. Oh, it's fake. It's not real and shit. It's funny even with that knowledge, I liked it, but it did piss me off when I would look at shit and I would say, oh God, that's fake. You know what I mean? And it's worse when you're a teenager because you're literally cutting off that suspicion of disbelief and you're going to myself, the world is a lie. Fred Durst didn't say it's my way or the highway. Shit like that, man.
Timely considering this is in the early stages of the Attitude Era, and
this was in the middle of it. The Attitude Era hit everybody differently, and I tell it to everybody. The Attitude Era, I would say 1996 wrestling on down to about 2001, is actually more polarizing than people think. People often want to say that the Attitude Era was the greatest decade, whatever, not decade, but was the greatest era in wrestling. There is good points to that, and there's a whole, and I just hate to be that person, there's a whole lot of points telling you shut the fuck up, but at the same time, there's, of course, there was the most eyes was on wrestling at that time. So a lot of shit was getting wild, and the one thing I hate to bring up is Vince Russo. We have to, because he's an integral part of this fucking story.
Yeah. So the Brawl for All. Now, okay, the Brawl for All, the iteration of it came about because one Bradshaw was talking cash shit about how he is hot shit and can kick the shit out of anybody, and one young
Vincent
Russo, who was a guy who was the architect of the Attitude Era. To a degree.
Easy.
Either way,
you want to be easy with that.
He
call him the architect because I hate to be that person. Pat Patterson did more for the Attitude Era than he did. So let's not. Yeah, we're not about it anyway.
But the point is, he decided he wanted to really, put Bradshaw in his place. So he decides, hey, how about we put the most badass guys we got backstage into a boxing match?
Because you gotta understand, bro, this was when wrestling was real. Because there was titties, there was Jerry Springer. It was beautiful, bro. It was real. People tune in. Nobody's going to tune in for a wrestling match. That's not what WWF stand for. And we want, throw titties out there. Show Brawl. It's got to be like, real. 90s.
Now bear in mind, this was also during the early days of UFC.
Oh God!
It was UFC in the early days was rough around the edges.
Man, the word rough around the edges is not that thing. You gotta understand. See,
that's putting it lightly.
Joe Rogan was a part of early UFC.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He was just a fan that became a steroid fan.
He did aim
that actually is a very good commentator on MMA. I will totally admit that. But he's still a fan. He's an amateur. Y'all act like this nigga. You act like this nigga went in the ring, actually fought Vanderlei Silva in his prime and shit. You don't need to stop that, man.
But either way, one of the people that participated in the Brawl for All was one Dan Severn, who had accolades out the ass.
Now, Eric, Chris, actually, let's go down the list of the people who were lucky enough to be picked for this, and let's start with Dan Severn. You said Dan Severn. I got a question, Dan. Why? Like, you didn't have to be here.
No.
But wasn't WWE also like putting up like different like people from because fucking
Take two.
no Ken Shamrock was here at WWE at the time, so I think that was the only reason why they got Dan Severn because Ken Shamrock was there. So
it's funny look at the history of the United States fighters that were fighting in Japan and at the time doing kickboxing or any type of gladiatorial or any type of MMA promotion. They all the Americans kind of stuck together, whether it be Dan Fry or Severin or Shamrock or Shamrock's brother. All of them kind of rolled. Not want to say roll in the same clique, but they like, hey man, we got a job over here, some shit like that. Hey, you get paid good over here. So Dan Severn was already, if I'm mistaken, he was the NWA weight champion or some of the shit like that. But Dan really needed to work.
Bear in mind, Severn had the NWA championship at that time.
Yep.
And that was
he did have it at the time.
Yeah, he had it at the time. And this is how I remember it vaguely, because bear in mind I was still watching WCW hardcore, but like I would kind of like, hey, what's WWE during this time? And it was just Billy Gunn was Rockabilly or whatever the fuck he was at the time.
No, yeah, he was Rockabilly. Yeah,
Rockabilly at the time and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's what's happening.
I think he just did Mr. Ass. I don't think he did Mr. Ass just yet, but whatever.
Yeah. So Dan Severn had the NWA championship, and they were really kind of like teasing like Severn was going to beef with like Bob Harley and Bart Gunn and shit because the NWA invasion and stuff. And I was like, oh.
And I liked how this actually did Vince the favor. I'm talking McMahon the favor, where it's like, wait a minute, Severn lost. He had the belt out. He had the belt with him when he walked out there, did he? Good for Godfather. Give him a whore.
Which is ironic because later on that year, he pops up in the King of Ring tournament, beats D'Lo Brown and Owen Hart, and then loses to The Rock.
Yeah.
Go figure. But he had a good 2-year run in WWE before he just said, fucking, I'm done.
Yeah, man. I still felt like he had no business in there. Anyway, Steve Blackman and everybody, here's my thing. I know Steve Blackman.
Dangerous man.
I know that he knows how to fight, but I think he just knows how to fight, but he can't actually fight.
He's not a boxer.
Here's the thing. There's a story about him fucking roundhouse kicking the shit out of JBL, knocking him out. Here's the thing. I believe it happened, but I don't believe it happened because everybody hated JBL so much. I don't believe half the story. Yeah, one time I stood up at JBL. He is 6'8". I doubt you did. You know what I mean? Like,
I believe him. I believe him kicking.
Like, I believe
literally kicking.
Else.
Yeah, I believe Blackman is put his way, Blackman is a legit martial arts, but he's not a boxer. He's not.
No.
He's not.
But you gotta think about it, bro. He knows how to kick. He knows how to run around and do.
He's a fighter.
He's a fighter, not fighter. So yeah, man. Like now, okay. I know you were just coming in, Denzel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was Blackman to you? Like, was he really that badass to you too, man?
All right, so let's see. So Brawl for All was like 98. So I was like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, oh shit, like you actually got like a martial artist, because I'm still coming off of the high of Power Rangers and Tommy.
Yeah, it's about 4 or 5 years after, so that's about right.
And who knew you had Tommy with the personality of fucking Jason?
Right. So me, I'm like, oh, okay, I could rock with him. And I admit I rocked with Blackman when I was younger, but now I'm like, the fuck was I thinking?
It's not like it was bad. It was like
he was a good mid-carder.
But he was painfully mid-card.
Head and cheese.
Had some good matches. He had good 2 hardcore matches with Shane McMahon. I was like, that was actually pretty dope. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
I know D's gonna probably disagree.
That spot where he hits Shane with the kendo stick and Shane just falls will always be a memory.
In the history. That's stitched in the history. I was going to say that. I'm not going to shit on that match because I remember being hyped for the match. What I will say is this. Have y'all actually seen that match?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people. Like, the last 2 minutes of that match was boring because we had to see these niggas crawl up a fucking screen. And also,
the
did
scaffolding.
y'all really see that match?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It went on a little longer than what it
It
should
was a
have
little
been.
bit too long. It was a little bit too long.
I'll
like
admit that much.
It was hype at the time, but it was like,
yeah, because it was like that. We wanted to see Black Man actually get his hands on the chicken shit Shane McMahon.
Yeah. So you know what? Look. It's just so funny to me that our memory of Steve Blackman is high, like people highly regard him as cool, but it's like y'all can't name a match outside of that Shane match. So
Head
stop.
and cheese.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up, Denzel.
Head and cheese. Come on.
Steve Blackman is like in that same category as Lance Storm for me, where it's like he had a good run and then he just bowed out.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of a boxer, Mark freaking Mero. Here's the thing. All right, D got to put it out. I don't like Mark Mero. No, never did like him. Not one bit. Still don't like Mark Mero. I think he kind of gave wrestling, he didn't give wrestling a black eye because wrestling gave its own black eye like that. But he kind of skated on this little thing like, well, I was different. Okay, shut up, Mark. But whatever. You know what I mean? So I always had this little bad taste in my mouth. Now,
boxer.
Let me respect who he is. Nigga can actually throw hands. He's a
legit,
golden gloves. He was actually legit
golden gloves. Yeah,
give it up to the brother, man. You can't. You would never take that away. That means I'm close to a level of a professional boxer, but I can fucking throw hands. So good for him, man. I will give that to him, man. But outside, whatever, man. No, stop. We're here, Chris. Looking at you. What's your memory of Mr. Mero? The Wild Man. Was it the Wild Man? What was it called? It was like the Wild Man or something like that when he came to WWE?
Nah, it was
more I think it was the Wild Man.
It was more so the latter 2 years of WCW when him and DDP beefed.
Wow.
That was a thing.
That was a thing?
Him and DDP were beefing.
Wait a minute.
In story, him and DDP were going at it.
Okay.
I know. It was the last 2 years. This is back when like Cactus Jack was in WCW.
Oh, so before Mick went to ECW.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
yeah, because see, like when you guys say Mark Mero, only thing I can think of is that was Sable's husband.
Also him being Intercontinental Champion, for a minute. So
he was Intercontinental Champion.
You know what? Here's the funny thing. There was a line of Intercontinental Champions at the time that were noticeable people, but at the same time, they really didn't do shit with him. They didn't do shit with that fucking run, man. So he was one of them.
Anyway. Well, he lost his wife to Brock Lesnar. So hey,
no, he lost his wife to Vince McMahon.
Okay, my bad. You right.
Second Vince saw them titties, he was like, yes,
mine.
Amongst many other women that had titties as well. Looking at you, Jacqueline.
I think Jacqueline did that to make sure she had a contract. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think she got them titties by you know what, girl? I don't think she did that. I think that was a business and shit.
Yes, I concur. Woo! It was messy times.
I think it is kind of funny that Sable went to a quiet life and married the most loudest nigga in the room, which is Brock Lesnar. And I will, hey, they're gonna have look. One day we're gonna see some corn-fed ass.
I'm about to say the same shit too.
He got like what daughter? I don't know what he got. If he got a daughter,
a kid or a couple of kids.
He got 2 kids, I think two, maybe 3 kids. 2 or 3. Yeah, but that being said, we probably never will see them. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, I won't be surprised if we're like watching like the Olympics one day and we see the shot putter. We're just like, that little girl looks familiar. Yeah, that's Tina Lesnar, daughter of Brock Lesnar. And we see her throw the little shot put. All of us say the same thing. Hey, yo, where Triple H at, man? Well, yo, where Triple H is at? Yo, Trips, you gotta see this chick. She looked like a new record.
I mean, look.
I have a feeling that one of his kids is going to like, who is that? We're all going to say, who is that? Yo, that's Brock's kid. I knew. wow, steroids actually say.
But nah, man, like so you have Mark Merrow.
So who's
You
the
got
next
the
one?
Godfather who was a bouncer, but he could fight. You know, that was the least he hit the bare minimum of what Vince Russo wanted. Like, oh, Mark, you know, the Godfather, you know, he was a fighter, he was a bouncer, he knew how to throw hands. Put him in there.
But here's the thing: we're, of course, everybody, we're going to be pulling for the dark side of the ring. I'm with Godfather. Shit, yeah, nigga, I'm used to this. He was a real, like, one thing I always gave that to Charles Wright. He was a legit tough dude. You know, he was. Hey, we don't make niggas like him no more, bro.
See, the thing of it is, like, okay, so bear in mind, folks, this, before we get back to the people, this took place over the span of like a month and a half, basically. The first round was like a month and a half because it was like, I remember it felt like it was dragging.
They stretched it out. I remember that shit.
They stretched that shit out for a month.
It's the summertime. Ain't nobody watching shit. Let's go.
So you had that going on. Tuco Scorpio was in the shit. With
Scorpio. Who was he going against?
8 Ball.
Oh, 8 Ball.
What the fuck is 8 Ball?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I remember he was in ECW for a minute, but that was it.
Yeah.
Yo.
I think he was there for like a handshake and a cup of coffee, or half a cup of coffee.
Oh yes, he was.
Because it was ECW, so they really couldn't afford a full cup of coffee.
No. He popped up in TNA after WCW went under. Right after WCW. Yeah, because you remember
at the asylum in Tennessee.
Yeah, because you remember both of them. 8 Ball popped up in WCW during the last year and a half before they went up, before Vince bought him. And then he popped up in TNA immediately afterwards. And I was like, oh, there he is. And it's like, well, that was interesting. Cool. I mean, that was your only choice. It was either go back to WWE or go to TNA. Take your pick.
I highly doubt he had any leverage to go back to WWE. I highly doubt that because, again, nobody got over in this fucking tournament.
No.
That is amazing to me. Nobody. For a tournament that was supposed to put somebody over, it got nobody over.
The one thing I would add with Tuco Scorpio is that it's funny. He is actually not a badass. Yes, he has a story where he nearly knocked out Hawk. Admittingly, Hawk wasn't Hawk, so it's hard to tell. But I'm gonna say that Hawk got beat flush because he called Tuco Scorpio a nigga. So I really, really think he got his ass whooped clean in that fight. But that being said, he doesn't come off like a tough guy at all. He was just, hey, I'm a job. I ain't got shit to do, man. Vince ain't got me doing nothing. I do it. So why not? All right. Steve Williams. Steve Williams. As you see by Denzel's head, the guy with his tongue out.
Dr. Death.
Oh. Dr.
freaking Death himself.
He was a guy that everybody jerked themselves off in excitement for. As
the word everybody is weird. See, here's the thing. Number one,
he had the look.
Yeah, he had the look. He was one of those. He was just legit strong. Always dumped a whole lot of Japanese dudes on their heads. He was one of those type of dudes, man. And still love nigga, man. I'm not JB. I mean, Jim Ross. Love this dude, man. He was like a little brother to him and all that. Now, here's the funny thing. Jim Cornette mentioned it, and it's one of those things where, well, duh, why wouldn't he? And Jim, I don't think Jim was knocking it. It was just one of those things where it's like, well, as long as the fights are seen as real, I can play around with who wins and who doesn't and all the rest of that shit. Which, yeah, why the fuck not? Which is why it's always funny when I got to hear when people heard Bruce Pritchard lie through his fucking teeth saying, no, everything we did was legal. Savio Vega's right there. We did it and shut up. The second you knew Bart Gunn and Bob Holly were in there, you said, let's put these niggas together and have them fight. Don't do that. Don't do
Which
that.
this is how early
Long enough to know how it works.
this is how early Attitude Era WWE it was, because you had people like Mark Canterbury, you had Brackus, you had
Who
Savio
the hell is
Vega.
Canterbury? Who's Canterbury,
I
man?
don't remember
Somebody help me.
Canterbury.
That's what I'm saying. It was all these names and stuff, and I'm like, I vaguely remember him being in WWE like that, and I'm
Then
like,
then you got the Quebecer. You got Pierre. Wait a minute, wasn't the nigga with the one eyeball? No, Mark Canterbury was a dude. He was a dude that had to fight Bradshaw. Bradshaw lit his
ass up. Done.
Savio Vega is Savio Vega. You will never hear me say a bad thing about Savio. So the same thing for Draws. Rest in peace to Draws. You know what I mean? Beating the Hawk. That was hold on, and that's funny because Hawk and Draws were tag team partners at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how fucked this whole tournament was. It was breaking apart. No, like I said again, you had Bart Gunn and Bob Holly going at it. I'm like, but they're tag team partners, and again, going back to Dark Side of Wrestling, Bart was like, yeah, after that tournament, like me and Bob were not the same afterwards. Like we had to actually be in a hotel with each other after that match at night. Like it was just awkward as shit. Like
I bet it would be too, man. And then on top of that, it's like, oh shit, but like we had to wrestle the next night. What you want us to do?
Which is ironic because I would say Bob Holly dodged a bullet, not even further participating, because he came out pretty good after this because he kind of thrived during the Attitude Era when it went full tilt.
I think Bob Holly is the weirdest, had the weirdest come up out of anybody. Like I think a lot of that when he did Hardcore Holly, I think that was just a lot of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't want to be he didn't want to be spark plug no more. He didn't want to do none of that goofy crap no more. Which always killed me.
He was supposed to be the guy up next and stuff until injury.
I always laugh with Bob Holly also because Bob Holly always came off across to me a dude that had every chance to tell Vince to go fuck himself and really mean it. He never did.
It's like the urge was there, and maybe Vince threw more money at him. He's like, all right.
That's what I think it is, man. Vince always made it worth his while to, just to stay around or some shit. But when he was gone, he was gone.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think he was just really done.
He peeled out on that one and stuff.
Yeah, so it is kind of funny that when you mentioned Bob Holly, and Bob Holly is so respected by a lot of people, man. So that's why, he got out clean. Yeah. So anyway, how were the actual fights? Okay, so
it was shit. It was a clusterfuck.
All of them were a clusterfuck.
Let me tell you something.
Every single one of these.
Bro, let me tell you something. As somebody,
that punch you took right there, you see what he do. You know what he sees right there? What do you mean there's going to be some kid named Crash? He was talking to Jesus.
Let me tell you something, folks. To watch this live on Raw, it did suck the energy out of Raw. Just turning to the channel and seeing two dudes just boxing in the ring during Monday Night Raw, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And you click it over to WCW and it's NWO, and it's like, so NWO or Brawl for All.
What do you think?
NWO.
What do you think? That's hey, thank you, Chris. That is one thing a lot of people don't talk about the Brawl for All. Like, here's the thing. I understand stupid people want to bring up the Brawl for All and say we should be doing that again. We had our chance, and they didn't want to do WWE. What was that? The uncut joke they did? There was
Underground.
Underground. We had a chance.
Raw Underground was the closest you were gonna get.
And I hate to be this person. I think it would have worked.
It was basically WWE Fight for New York. I was for it. I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
No. It was Shane. It was Shane trying to live out the last of his 20s at age 55, but whatever.
Half-naked chicks, baby, yeah.
That's the shit that got me. I was with it, but at the same time, it's like, do you see how this shit looks? Do you see how this shit looks in current day?
I felt bad for some of them NXT chicks that had to be part of that stuff,
and be the dancers.
Thank you, right? I know some of them didn't care. But I know some of the other ones
You remember, unfortunately, WWE still gets two girls. They get cheerleaders and girls who are legit tomboys. So every now and then, and even with the tomboys, so I get to show my titties. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Yeah, but yeah, like we had a window, and see, nobody bit. It's stupid. But I like the hybrid idea of having them to be just brawling is stupid to me because, like you said, none of these guys are actually boxers.
No.
This is why in the early goings of the Monday Night War, like WCW was whooping their ass because they did this shit, and it's like,
this.
What are we doing? What are we doing, guys?
This Vince. Why are we doing this shit? Come on, man. People want no. Your boy, like, no, bro. They got to be boxing out here, bro. The fans want it. This is something different.
God, it was sad because I've seen amateur boxing way better than this shit. It was like, and Mark Merrow, who is Golden Gloves, you would have thought on paper he should have fucking won out. Got fucking taken out with the quickness.
No. JBL took him out because JBL. Okay. Let's talk about JBL. And I believe let's talk about
he talks a lot. According to a lot of wrestlers, he talks a lot of shit, and some people will sit there and heat check him on his shit, and he'll back down.
But
he's a bully, but some people will sit there and heat check him.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like all right. Branch of JBL back in the day was one of those JBL. I get where he came from in a sense. He was just one tall dude from Texas, like a whole lot of them that played football, and now they ain't got nothing to do, so you're going straight to wrestling. So he was one of thousands, okay? So he had his little come up was a little bit, you got to be the toughest, you got to be the hardest. And to give JBL his credit, he is old school, where he came from. If you're going to be a heel, motherfucker, walk like a heel, talk like a heel. Go all in. That's why it's so funny. You see wrestlers now that do that gimmick, and people really legit don't like their ass. Like, good example, Sami Callihan. Everybody don't like that nigga, but he has nothing but friends in wrestling because he's one of the nicest guys out there. So yeah, you got to live that gimmick a little bit. Oh, Sammy will go like where it's so funny, and this is not a knock on MJF. But I feel that Sami Callihan is doing what you did when nobody asked him to.
Right.
Sammy did shit that was so unnecessary to get him heat, man, but whatever. But anyway, but with JBL, I think he lived it hard. And when, everybody had to be a little bit PC during the 2000s, it kind of really made him look bad. But I don't blame him for doing, look, I know he don't support it, but that's how you're throwing up the Ohio, the Ohio. Look. If you can find the clip, and you can, it's hilarious. Him stepping on the Brazilian flag. People in Brazil still hate him. They still hate him. And you know what JBL said? You know what JBL said? He said, "I am a wrestling god." Because here's the thing. I know people have their thing with JBL. I don't give a fuck. He a wrestling god. He is a wrestling that nigga. He eats it, breathes it. He was it. Yeah. So fuck it. He was a dickhead, and all of this was started because he was being a dickhead to a shit stain. This is what happens.
I mean, because the first round was such a shit show. It felt like when they got to the second round, they got to the quarterfinals, it was like, all right, let's speed this shit up right now. Because
I love that, man, because they knew in the first round it was a shit show. People were hurt. There was a couple guys concussed.
It was a mess of everybody getting fucked up, and it's like, yo, how did you have a quarterfinals? Because the quarterfinals was just as much of a shit show as the fucking damn first round.
So I remember only two of these fights. In particular, Bart Gunn beating. I did remember seeing Dr. Death lose to Bart Gunn. And here's the thing. I didn't know who Steve Williams was at the time. So when he lost, I didn't think nothing of it. You know,
I didn't know he broke his leg, though. That was the thing, because you're watching it and you're like, oh,
he didn't broke his leg. I think he tore his hamstring. He tore his hamstring or something, but he needed a whole surgery on his leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it stunted his career. It was over after that.
I mean, he went to All Japan, but yeah, it was pretty much.
He was pretty much done.
Yeah.
He was done after that. And
that was Vince's dream boy. That was destined to win.
Now, now the big reason why was because if anybody don't knows this, one of the things was during what was hot in 1998, and I know what everybody's going to say. Steal My Sunshine. Shut the fuck up. That was more mid 90s. But no, the hot thing at the time was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, the thing was, whoever came out of this would actually be up to actually fight Austin. You know what I mean? Okay, so now let's look at the quarterfinals again, and let's see who's there. Bradshaw, Miro,
Draws.
Vega already fought him. Draws,
Bart Gunn.
Bart, hell no. Steve Williams, oh my God, yeah. Godfather, no, Godfather wasn't Godfather yet.
Yeah, he was still Kamala. I think he was still
Kamala. Nation. It was
Nation. Post Kamala.
Yeah, post Kamala.
Yeah, it was like Kala Mufasa or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Two-Core Scorpio. Fuck no.
Oh hell no.
So yeah, I hate to be that person. Who's the only, like I said, in that quarterfinals, who has the most personality at that time to go against Stone Cold? Yes. Dr. Death Steve Williams, the dude that's won a New Japan, the guy that has won every title in all Japan, the guy that they stupidly didn't take in WCW was Vince's. Vince can run with this dude for a couple of years or so, whatever. Luckily for Steve Williams, he had Jim Ross behind him, and Vince kind of likes it when guys beat the shit out of each other. So he was perfect. And what happened? What the fuck happened? This is what happened. He didn't get put to sleep, but when he got hit that second time and fell, oh my God.
Now here's the thing. Vincent Kennedy McMahon has a thing where if you fuck up his plans, even if it's just by accident, and bear in mind, it's not like Bart purposely wanted to do what he did to Steve. Let's make it perfectly clear here. But clearly Steve was supposed to be the guy. And
he admitted he was heated going to the ring because, and it would be the loud gay Canadian. How are you going to beat Steve? You got to think about it. Pat Patterson, dick swinging in his late 60s, shorter than everybody else.
Exactly.
Yes, it was. Oh my God, yes, it was.
Now, bear in mind, here's the thing. Speaking as somebody, like when you have people telling you that, oh, Steve Williams gonna beat the shit out of you and da-da-da-da, no guy ever wants to hear that shit, right? You don't want to hear that. Nobody ever wants to hear this guy's gonna beat your ass. You'd be like, no, fuck you. I want to whoop his ass. And that's exactly what the fuck happened. Bart was like, I took that personally. And
he got his MJ on. I took that personally.
Like I gotta imagine if Pat Patterson didn't egg him on, he probably would. He probably would have lost. But it was like, nah, this shit's personal. Think he's no, bro. No,
man,
he gotta go.
Man, but like when he failed,
I was
Jim, like when he failed. They went. Luckily, he went backstage, and we have something. We have something for that. What did he say when he's backstage?
Where was the pain, Jameis?
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere. So we got to keep on pushing.
Yeah, it was just pain everywhere.
He destroyed. It's amazing to see two guys have their careers destroyed at the same time, and that's the sad part about it. Because Bart was a mid guy. You know what I mean? But he didn't deserve what was coming at him, even though he kind of deserved it because wrestlers wrestling. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to the reason why Vincent Kennedy McMahon was right on that nigga later.
Now, I will admit this though.
The same thing for Steve Williams. It was done for him too. It was sad.
I remember watching that match live, and you could have sucked all the energy out the audience because the audience was like, "Oh, Dr. Death
What do
gonna
you mean you
fucking win
just
this
got the
shit.
energy out of the audience? The audience energy was already sucked out.
So I'm just saying, what energy was there though? Because everybody was like, "Oh, Dr. Death gonna win. He gonna beat Bart Gunn, yada yada yada." And as soon as Bart, like, as soon as he went down, it was like, "Oh shit."
Okay,
Oh,
so just to put it out there in perspective for a lot of you, you're probably saying, "I don't get it. What's so wrong about this?" Imagine, if you will, that's what I'm saying. It's a brawl for all. It's a brawl for all. Everything's going good, and the person that everybody sees is going to win the brawl for all, that should win the brawl for all, will be Kevin Owens, and then motherfucking Danhausen drops him legitimately.
And you're like,
that is what I'm talking about.
The whole backstage would be like, "What the fuck happened?"
Do you imagine if you? I'm saying Danhausen just because I can't think of no weak ass nigga in WWE. Oh, God, I liked him. The dude I liked that was in the Mel Marlin joke, the Persian dude, Mansoor.
Mansoor?
Mansoor.
Yeah. Imagine he legit went across Kevin's mouth on live television.
Kevin just
and
like,
knocked him out cold. Do you know what will happen to Kevin Owens' stock? Do you know what will happen to the main event push? Well, just push Mansoor. Really?
Really?
Hey,
You want me to push the low? You want me to push the jobber to fight the main? And hold on. Remember when I said that nobody was getting over? Even when he knocked out Steve Williams, do you know what the fans did? Bring out Austin. Where's The Rock at?
That's what I said.
Bring out the Job Squad.
No. Scorpio was already out there. What are you talking about?
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You beat me. I was going to say something about that.
Give me Blue Meanie.
Bring the Blue Meanie back. Oh my God, Jericho won there. Yeah, I forgot Jericho won there. Yeah,
Goldust.
Goldust won there. Goldust left at that time. I think Goldust was he was there. No, Goldust was there.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, he was just he was going through that weird I love and really, really hate my wife period he was going through at that time.
No, but you're right though. Everybody was
Dusty.
But everybody was on some like, give me Triple H and give me DX and Shawn Michaels at that point. It was like, yo, give me them motherfuckers. I don't want to watch this shit.
And here's the funny thing. I do remember. I don't remember much of the commentary. Just Jerry Lawler needing to shut the fuck up because because Jerry didn't carry a single sheet of paper to make any of these niggas look good. He buried everybody in the ring. Look at that, Jim. Look at that wild swing, Jim. He missed all of it. Like.
This is Jerry we're talking about, D. He never had a piece of paper, even after the Brawl for All.
Even after that, I know, but still, it's Jerry Lawler, though. Jerry not making this shit sandwich any better by dropping more shit on this man. Not saying that he was bad. He was the best thing about the whole Brawl for All.
Now, I talked about how WC. Now, this is how vivid I remember this. Now, this is summer of '98. I want y'all to take a wild guess of what was also happening during that summer in WCW '98. Just take a guess. Don't look it up.
I know. That was
Wild Hogs. Sturgis.
No. I know what was going on. That's when Sting came back and he was fighting against the NWO by himself, right?
Partially.
Okay.
Dennis Rodman, NWO, all that shit.
Yeah.
The build up during the summer. During the summer. So you got that, you going up against that in the Brawl for All?
WWE got their ass kicked.
You going up against that?
That's another thing. This was one of the lowest rated programs on the whole show. Not only is no one getting over, nobody's watching this shit.
Everybody's watching Dennis Rodman and Carmelo go at it in the ring.
Don't let it fool y'all. Y'all was like, well, I looked at the little document. No, because wrestlers are nerds themselves. So of course they watched it live, okay? But so that don't count. That don't count because your favorite wrestler saw it, therefore everyone's seen it. No, nigga. No. Wrestlers are nerds. Every single one of them. especially after 1988, we have breeded no legit, true tough men wrestlers. All right, so all of them are fucking nerds. All right,
It's true.
Why do you think CM Punk had such a tough time trying to come up during the Gen X era? Because all of them were still tough men. You know, all they are now is niggas that can flip and motherfuckers that weren't good enough for MMA. Those the only motherfuckers that do wrestling now, yeah. And every now and then, and hold on, Denzel, and every now and then, dude, you are cut out of. Are you a cow? All right, we're gonna do something with you. All right, man, we're gonna do something. Stay away from the. Oh, you're already doing roids. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. Anyway.
But again, this is what you.
Look, I'm cool, man. But when you get out of hand, man, I'm gonna have to call somebody. All right.
It literally felt like WWE was throwing pebbles at WCW. Like, look what we got, Brawl for all, and WCW was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like,
I don't understand it, man. Now the other fight I do remember, and that was when we got to the semifinals. And I mean, that's when we had the semifinals.
Crazy.
I remember Bart and Godfather. And I remember being heated.
Oh, because Godfather
heated. Because and look, of course, now I'm older. I understand the situation. Ooh, that sucked, Charles. You got knocked out on television like that, bruh.
And your wife bitched you out afterwards.
Here's the worst part. He said when he got up and he went to his corner, he was already telling everybody, I can't feel my legs. I don't know where my legs at. That's a nigga that's about to get knocked out. Y'all should have just said stop. But it's the 90s. What's a concussion? So
right.
he went right back out there and got put to sleep. I was mad to see a black dude get knocked out and almost fall out the ring when it happened, man. He was because of course nowadays we know with hit shots to the head, he was already knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
He was already, because once you start, I can't feel my legs. I don't know. Once you get dizzy like that, don't even get up. Stay down. Fight over. You know what I mean? But back there, hell no. You okay? Like what state we in? We in New Jersey, right? Yeah, that's good. We in Texas. Shut the fuck up, man.
Dude, Droz getting the bricks beat off him by Bradshaw was fucking hilarious.
Oh my god! And you know what? If you watch the Dark Side of Wrestling, I met Droz a few years ago, man. God, this motherfucker, you couldn't tell him he's paralyzed.
Yeah,
he was one of those people because I saw him at Awesome Con, man. He was at Awesome Con. He was joking with everybody. He was just like, of course he's paralyzed, so he's just like he's making fun of the fact that he can't look over his shoulder and shit. You know what I'm saying? He was a good guy. It's rare. I tell this to everybody. You're gonna come across people you see, and you're just gonna like, I like this motherfucker. Mm-hmm. He was one of those people, just pure. Yeah,
got in off a gimmick because Vince was like, he knows how to throw up on command. All right.
And to give him his credit, if you looked at Droz back then, nigga was cut.
Yes,
he looked good, man. I don't know how. I will say this as a wrestler. Man, that's a good 3 years. But look,
hey, it was a good ass mid Carter. You need somebody to fight against somebody with the European belt. Get him.
He was a decent mid Carter while he lasted. And very unfortunately, he got paralyzed wrestling D'Lo. And it was really one of those things. D'Lo, he just really hated that. He hated how it all went down. And of course it was one of those things where it's happened. It's wrestling. You know what I mean? Yeah. But D'Lo kind of never lived it down. Almost on is. And I hate to bring up something darker. Almost on the level of Rey Mysterio. Rey still ain't got over the fact that Homeboy died when he was on wrestling in Mexico. So
because of
those things just lay on you. You know what I mean? That you did something like that, man. So yeah, man. But Droz, I'm fine, bro. Like that's cool as hell. Like, dog. That's why I got into wrestling, man. What you think?
I'm just laughing though, like the fact that
I puked on people's faces. This is yeah. I think I had this coming. But look, it's all right, man. It's all good. It ain't even your fault, man.
I'm just laughing. Because they really sat there and built that up and stuff. Again, bear in mind, because like you said, Denzel, your finals for your Brawl for All is going up in the lead up to Road Wild over in WCW.
Really?
Mm-hmm. because at that time it was DDP and Jay Leno versus Hogan and Eric Bischoff.
Ooh,
That's right.
And that's the roll while meant something.
Yeah.
The build up for that and your brawl for all is still going.
It sounds stupid, doesn't it?
Right. Like now you're
Jay
thinking
Leno
about
was
it.
there,
It's like, this is
and
stupid.
nigga.
But back then,
oh, that was huge.
yeah.
Look, still to this day, WWF, WWE fan for life. I love it over every other wrestling promotion. The fire that was coming out for that whole rivalry was like it was nuclear. It was real, nigga. People gave a true fuck. It was the last big thing I say WCW really did. You know what I mean? It was big time, bruh.
Yeah.
Jay Leno. They fought on the Tonight Show, bruh. They fought on the Tonight Show.
The build up for that was hilarious because again, WWE, their biggest thing again was just a brawl for all. But meanwhile, Jay Leno and Hulk Hogan beefing on air. This is crazy, right? And drew bigger ratings for late night TV than this fucking brawl for all. That's the sad reality of it. It's like all the shit's happening, and then meanwhile over in brawl for all, it's like so they really hyped up Bradshaw versus Bart Gunn, and that was a match. That was a fight. It was a thing.
I mean, if you can call it that, but
yeah, I know, right? It was a thing.
That was a thing.
Vince Russo guy, I guess, got the last laugh because Bart Gunn won. It's like, this Texan can't fight. I'm like,
you know what?
What was the cost, sir?
You know what killed me? I like as much as like his. I love Jim Cornette. I think a lot of the shit he does is look, it's chill. But it took me a while, and I really got it. I understood why why Jim Cornette couldn't stand a person like him. Like, if you ever had somebody at your job that, if you ever did something that you really truly loved, and you had somebody that didn't take it as serious as you, or really took advantage of where he was at and not cared about anybody, like just somebody toxic to work with. That's what he had to deal with. And I hate to be that and just to keep it more real, it was one of the reasons why Jim Cornette gained a whole lot of weight and almost had a heart attack when he got to OVW. It was one of just the many stacking things that happened. So Jim was going to do a time in his life where he was seeing the thing that he grew up and loved, that he actually grew up in, change. And Jim still haven't taken a break. You know what I mean? He's given his advice. He is still got, I don't give a fuck. He still has very good sage advice for wrestling today and all the rest of that crap. But you can tell a lot of the shit that he cares for is dated and gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with that motherfucker. The person that you hate the most is actually responsible for that. So yeah. You see somebody come in there and take something from you, like, well, it's just wrestling. It's just wrestling. I agree with Jimmy on that one. Well, guess what? Wrestling is the most important thing to me.
Yep.
And when you think about it, and of course, they pause for effect with him to like, it's the most important thing in my life. When they paused it, I thought to myself, Jim has a point. That is his life. Imagine somebody coming on the court and laughing at Kobe, saying, "Dog, it's just practice." Yeah, it's practice to you. This is practice. Here, what you do? What's this? Why are you giving me money? That's so you get on a plane and get the fuck out of here. No, you're not coming back to LA. Yeah. It is so funny. People, I hear those same people who's like, no, Jim Russo was right. Russo was right. Y'all the same motherfuckers that back up Jim Cornette saying all those points of you have to have respect, your job and all the rest of that shit. Yeah. Vince Russo went totally against that shit. It still is. This motherfucker said, hey, bro, no one wants to see Finn Balor and his muscles and his abs. No one wants to see that, bro. No. They don't want and he's a wrestler? Like, how does he wrestle? What makes him so good? He's tiny.
I'm surprised Vince.
He still don't get it.
I'm surprised.
And a part of me thinks he's lying. He's just going with that gimmick. You know what I mean? I want to say it, but I don't think he is. I think he's telling the truth.
I'm surprised Vince didn't fucking kick the shit out of Vince Russo after that, but after this disaster of a fucking tournament.
I will say this. When he got across Jim and Jim was like, I'm gonna fucking choke you, and probably somebody was like, yo, Jim, chill, and took him away from him. I'm pretty sure Vince was like, ha, Vince, come in here, ha, close the door. What the hell? I'm pretty sure he got chewed the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Bart Gunn was unfortunately Bart Gunn took a lot of strays coming off this tournament win because number one, you win the money, you weren't supposed to get over. No. So Vince was like, well, Bart, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to punish you.
Here's the thing. Much like the mafia killing their best friends and stuff like that, wrestling has a lot of just real dirty shit that they do. And one of the things in wrestling that is shits like this. Well, I'm not getting no money off this. No, every good wrestler I had is either hurt or they're ready to leave the WWF. And the person that won is a motherfucker that can't draw a fucking needle to a crackhead party. So this is what we're going to do. I know this fat white dude can say yes to anything.
And Butterbean at this time was known for knocking motherfuckers out.
Butterbean was around the time that is still kind of around where they were called prize fighters. Like they were legit prize fighters, like open weight fights. He was one of the kings of that shit. Oh, yeah. And Butterbean was like, okay, there was a story I heard from JBL when we was researching this. It was JBL talking about it, and JBL was saying that he liked the Brawl for All. He actually liked it. He said as the biggest FU to Vince Russo was the fact that I loved it. I thought it was the best idea that idiot ever had. Like, I had fun. Oh, yeah, no one got over. Everybody got hurt. I had fun, but no, that thing was terrible. So he said, but it was good. The only reason why he really jumped at it was because him and Ken Shamrock were really rolling together at the time. And yes, JBL is a legit tough dude. So he was fighting with him, with Shamrock and his brother. He was actually training MMA and all the rest of that. So it was kind of cool for him. He actually liked it. So during WrestleMania, him and Ken Shamrock were backstage, and they were, Butterbean. This is when Butterbean was a cool celebrity, so a lot of the wrestlers already knew who he was. So everybody was cool with him. So Shamrock and JBL goes into the room, and they just see this motherfucker hitting pads. And Ken Shamrock said it. Ken Shamrock said, "You see how fast he is?" That's it. I keep telling this to everybody. You know what the difference of professional and amateur is? Speed and fucking accuracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's in any sport, is the speed is different and the accuracy or the fundamentals of whatever sport it is tight. So, that being said, he was probably doing his equivalent of white belt punches, and everybody was like, Bart's dead.
Now, first off, before the Brawl for All, previous year, knocked out Mark Merrill during the In Your House pay-per-view.
Who?
Butterbean.
Butterbean actually. Oh yeah, I forgot he did show up once.
Yeah, that was the gimmicky. So right after this Brawl for All event, Bart Gunn won and stuff.
I think he also went to All Japan.
Yeah, he went to All Japan. Bart Gunn he signed to All Japan afterwards. So a year later, because back to WWE, and this is the one I remember because I actually remember this is WrestleMania 15
in Philly.
In Philly. Bart Gunn versus Butterbean, and I remember that vividly. Like, oh shit, they're bringing back Brawl for All. Knocked him out in 30 seconds. Bro.
I had one friend that got Minnie excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit.
I was a little excited too.
I wasn't.
You know what? D? No. Let me rephrase that. I think I was just excited because our parents, number one, bought the pay-per-view back when it was like $60 and shit. But like, I think I was just excited at the pay-per-view period. Not so much the match itself.
This is going to be memorable. That was you.
Really was. It really was. I mean, WrestleMania 15 was a dope ass fucking pay-per-view.
But the fact that he made it there and got knocked out so cleanly, just
30 seconds. And that was, to be honest, that was the equivalent of how we used to talk dog shit about the fucking women matches being basically bathroom break. That literally was the bathroom break before the Mankind and Big Show match.
So here's my thing. Here's my big important thing of all that. You do realize that you had Michael Buff out there and everything.
Hey, that was a cool ass quick check that he got.
Boy, this is why you don't combine this sport with that. See, look, again, Raw
You would think they
Underground
would
was our
learn their
last
lesson from this, but oh no, because in '99, ladies and gentlemen, when they were building up Ken Shamrock, and he had a storyline with Steve Blackman, what did they have? A fucking Lions Dens match. In other words, their version of UFC.
It was a UFC match, basically. And I'm like, oh, that was a thing, wasn't it? Hey, look, I ate that shit up. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, Lions Den match. Yeah.
Man, see, one of the most amazing things that happened, and I'm reliving, I'm looking at like little documentaries and shit like that. I wasn't a part of it. Was the fact that K1 Pride and a couple other promotions in Japan really were trying to show the world that combat sports was bigger than what it was. And this was also during a time where people still thought the Kumite was real. So you can have these fucking big matches like this, and people are like, oh man, it's a kickboxer versus a judo person, and somebody that does jujitsu versus somebody else, and all the rest of that shit. And also the Gracies had too much fucking money, so they threw it around to anybody that will put them over and all the rest of that shit. So basically, WWE trying that shit was just weird because they didn't care. They were just trying to turn eyes. There was no care put into it. They just really wanted to turn eyes to wherever the fuck they thought was going to be, just the shit. You know what I mean? And honestly, it was dumb, man. It was just dumb, man. And who won that fight, by the way? Who won that fight? The Lions Den match. Who won that?
Muted, CJ.
Chris, you muted, man.
Damn.
I think he said Shamrock.
Yeah, Shamrock.
I got you. There you go. All right. Kid Shamrock won that jump. But yeah, man, I find that funny. And you thought he was gonna get, they really thought this was going to be an evolution of something new. And really what you got at the end of the day was busted faces and concussions. And a bunch of jobbers that have another reason why they fucking hated WWF. That's really what
I mean. I have never seen a tournament get that decimated ever. Like, that's crazy to see. It was like everything bad that could happen happened. Look at that shit.
Just that look was two guys that didn't want to get punched.
Let's be real, D. I don't want to get punched in the face. So I'm just saying, like,
and real talk, if anybody hit me, I'd be scared for Savio to hit me.
Yeah.
I'd be scared for Savio to hit me because Savio he'll hit you with some little jailhouse punch. You know what I mean, man? I just really feel like
yo, square in the face. Square in the face.
I'm actually laughing at the Hank Williams shirt. That's what I was.
It was like, hey, put on your gym stuff. That's how you're going to box outside. I'm like,
hey, shout out to JBL breathing correctly, I guess.
JBL came to play, man.
Nobody had headgear. Nobody had knee pads. A lot of them went to the floor. Remember that? Because that was weird. I don't know why they
put on their gym attire and came out to the ring with boxing gloves on. That's exactly what the fuck that was. That's exactly what that was. There was no professionalism. There wasn't we got special boxers, that they wear out to the ring. Nah, they just said throw your gym stuff on and keep it going.
Imagine, if you will, they get a call in the middle of the night. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Vince? Listen to me, bro. We want you to show up the next day. You just wear whatever you want to wear. No, actually, just look like a tough guy. Me, just wear like if you go into like a bar or something, like just wear that. Wear that.
Don't want to look like a fag, all right?
Oh, he said that. He did. All right, bro, don't be gay. I mean, maybe if you want to, I'm fine with that. I also feel like Vince Russo lied to everybody about the way he talked to people, because I believe the only person he talked to with disrespect was Jim Cornette, because he thought Jim was that nigga to talk to like that, and everybody else he tried to talk to with respect.
I mean, like I said again, it's just one of those things where I'm still baffled that Vincent Kennedy McMahon looked at Vince Russo in his face and said, "Do it," and I'm like,
you know what? I think it really was one of those things where, yeah, you know what, Vince, you had a couple of good ideas. Give me a good one. And that's the only reason why Vince kept him around, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
And, yeah, he was like, hey, you're the guy that don't know shit about our world.
What can you bring to the table?
You know what? Like, Vince Russo's ideas were on broken clock status to me. They really were, right twice a day, but it's still a broken ass clock. So,
I mean, but like you said, it's like Vince Russo's Jerry Springer mentality. Like you said, it had a timetable. Because there was only so much you can do in the Attitude Era with that shock stuff before people were like, all right, can we move on past this shit, please? Like, because we're done. Like at this point, it's over with. The bra and panties match, titties, and all that shit. It's like, all right, this is getting kind of old a little bit.
And then Russo went over to WCW, and we got
burned it.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
Well,
the GOAT match, sir. The GOAT match.
This motherfucker, I'm actually shocked at Vince Russo. I'm very shocked that Vince Russo didn't try to ride on the fact a civil rights leader, because he Booker T. Nobody looked at him except me. I saw a star.
Oh, the Bash at the Beach.
Oh man, man.
Bash at the Beach 2000.
No, bro, when I watched that documentary on it, I was like, yo, they number one, they made Hulk Hogan look like even more of a dirtbag in that whole thing, like, because he didn't want to drop the belt to nobody. I'm like, god damn, he really is racist as shit.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious how Vince was probably the last. It was funny. People like to blame, everybody like to blame something on somebody, and they blamed a lot on Vince Russo for killing WCW. Like, nah, man, WCW killed themselves a year before he even showed up. Don't do that.
Yeah,
you can't hang that up all on that man. He just didn't have no good ideas to go with it.
Spoilers, we even said on the WCW retrospect podcast, it was just the fact that once the NWO gimmick started spreading out into different colors, and it was the NWO show. It's like, yeah, this got out of hand here. What are we doing here?
It was weird, man. This is one of those signs that the Attitude Era just had a lot of weird sputtering problems that nobody likes talking about, and I think the Brawl for All is just the biggest blunder, because it doesn't make no fucking sense.
But it's one of those things where people try to redact it like it didn't happen. It's like, that was early Attitude Era, guys. You're gonna have to eat that. Sorry.
Again, no one got over. I don't think I made it.
I have never seen a gimmick not get anybody over. This is the first time I've ever seen anything like this, and nobody won. There is no winners in this shit.
None.
I've seen worse gimmicks and people at least got something out of it. It's like, man, fucking my man Bobby Lashley had literally the stupidest fucking gimmick when he came back to WWE and somehow survived that shit.
Bobby Lashley lucked out that there are still perverted men like Vince that wants to see a black guy bang a white wife for some reason. So and also Bobby was a professional, so I think he was all right. He was going to be all right.
First off, Bobby doesn't have eyebrows, so Vince thought that he was okay with it because he didn't see him, voicing anger at the gimmick. So.
Damn it, CJ.
I'm just saying.
Oh shit.
Just saying. Just saying.
I got nothing after that.
Hey, look,
Thank you.
Jim Cornette backstage got his fucking big ass fan about ready to beat the shit out of Vince Russo after that fucking Bart Gunn and fucking JBL
I'm gonna
match.
kill you.
I'll kill you, son of a bitch.
He was like, "Yo, you just lost us $5 million. What do you mean? What I do? It was just a fight. Oh yeah, it was just a fight. It's just fake. You idiot.
You dumbass. Do you know what this means?
He was like, Dr. Death Steve Williams just lost on TV, and
He's supposed
you
to
just
win.
lost this. You just lost this money.
After the FTR match, I saw
Accusations.
These are not accusations. This is
False accusations.
And further,
What was Vince Russo at that point? I gotta ask though. This is a good what if though. Okay, let's say what if the Brawl for All didn't happen, right? And Dr. Death
Didn't happen.
It didn't happen, and Dr. Death, came up the normal way and stuff, and him and Steve Austin came,
I want. You know what? I hate to say it. I would love to see. I'm not hate to see it. I would like to see where it would have went.
Do you think Austin would have had that? Do you think Austin still would have had that trajectory that he had if him and Dr. Death went at it, especially since
See, here's the thing.
pushed Dr. Death as the guy?
Here's the thing. If you bring Dr. Death in the way they was going to bring it in, he was going to be this guy who was going to be stronger than Austin and have the wrestling skills to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are you see how big Steve was, you got all that, and you can floor wrestle a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're scary as hell. Now that's my only thing. How far that would have went? You know what I'm saying? Would it be one of those situations where and Steve, who is not a prima donna at all,
no,
I mean, who's not a prima donna at all, they would have fought hard, but how many times would it get? Hey, that son of a bitch dropped me on my goddamn head one more time. God damn it. I'm gonna fucking kill him in the ring.
Like, you mean like when Boss Man was tagging him for real a couple of good times in the ring?
Bro, man.
And he clotheslined him so hard that he hit him square in the head.
Austin, that's why I like certain champions. Like people like to think you can go over them. No, you can't. Some of you can't. They say like people say John Cena is just stronger than he was, but nobody ever had a problem with John. Would have to like, all right, shut the fuck up. Like now with Roman, we seen it a couple times with Roman. People hit Roman like, all right, I'm about to give you all of the fucking arm, not the little ooh thing I do now. I'm about to hit you, nigga.
Oh, you about to get tagged.
Did somebody
he tagged the living shit out of Dean that one time? That was hilarious.
Who was it that fucking tagged the shit out of fucking Brock in the ring? No,
Braun Strowman.
Brock,
Braun Strowman came in and tagged Brock like, yeah, what? And Brock was like, oh, word.
Yeah, like it was like I think it was like a knee shot. I think Braun hit Brock with his knee, and then Brock was like,
legit
all right,
knee shot.
this.
And he was like, oh,
Boom, settle down.
One of the best things I saw was the wrestlers respect like that. I remember, what was it, when Brock fought AJ Styles, right? Brock slammed he disrespect threw the shit out of AJ. And you can tell if it wasn't AJ, that I want to say would have hurt somebody. But thank God it was AJ and not somebody else, because if it was AJ, they would have sealed that thing right or nothing. AJ soul getting demolished right. AJ got up and hit that nigga with a flush discus elbow. Whap! I was like, Brock was like this. When Brock did that, Brock was like, that was good, nigga. That's good. Look, come on, let's wrestle, nigga. Let's wrestle. I like when you can see wrestlers do that in the ring. Oh, Steve Williams and Steve Austin would have did that to each other. There would have been a couple of matches. They would have been lighting each other up. I don't know about knife edge chopping each other, but it would have been it's just, you know what? It would have been him and Savio Vega all over again. Just 4 really good pay-per-view matches and they're done. It would have been that. I don't know how far of a star Steve Williams would have been because he never got the chance thanks to Vince Russo. We never knew how the WWF audience even ate him up. We don't know that shit. Only thing everybody knew about at the time was that's Jim Ross's dude. That was it. So yeah, that sucked, man. And and some WCW people knew who he was. So
yeah. But I think overall though, just to be, it's to say that you actually watched something that a documentary did and seen it. It's amazing thinking back on it and being like, yo, that was a time where you just juggled between both channels and you just saw one thing where you were like, well, that was a thing, and then the other side was doing a lot of stuff that kept your eyes glued. And I mean, it was a time.
I will give Bart this. Bart is not a hateful person. He's not mad about. He like it was the business.
He took it in stride.
That's the one thing I give Bart because Bart was I'd give that. Bart was probably just a
consummate professional.
Consummate professional wrestler. Like, hey, dude, I'm not the number one dude on the card. I already knew y'all was going to punish me. That's how you punish me. How's the payday? I like the payday.
The payday was great.
That's how I go out, dude. Man, that was you ended my career by getting knocked out. And that's another thing I think a lot of people really sympathize with Bart was that was the end of his career, getting knocked out. I hate to be that person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
$5, and it wasn't your fault, but it's got to be your fault a little bit.
I mean, because like any other person in Bart Gunn's,
you could have just failed, Bart.
No, I'm just saying somebody in Bart Gunn's position would have looked Vince in his eyes and said, "Go fuck yourself," and kept it moving. But Bart was like, "I guess I gotta do this because this is just what it is." Because I don't know anybody that would willingly take that kind of punishment. That's to say that's your punishment, Butterbean. Most people would be like, "Go fuck, get fucked, Vince." All right.
Jesus. Oh yeah.
The worst part about it is you can't. It was something that he couldn't recover from either, man.
Oh no.
Yeah, man. He couldn't recover. Like the worst part about it was not. It was when Jim Ross was talking to him. And he's like, "Yeah, man, glad you won it. Yeah. He put his hand over my arms. Just let you know, no hard feelings, man." Oh God, they're gonna fuck me. Oh God. When he said no hard feelings, that's when you know there's about to be some business shit that's going down. I'm talking wrestling business is about to go down.
It's at this moment.
No hard feelings, bro.
He fucked up.
Hey, look, Bart got at least Bart got out the business clean. He's a full-fledged electrician.
I will give him
now.
that. I will give him that. He's like I said, he's memorable of the business. Yeah, it could have been better.
Yeah,
I did shit for a while. I actually did shit for a while. So that's kind of cool. Like I said, it's kind of funny when he showed draws. Like I said, rest in peace to him. He just passed away. Happy.
Well, that was a thing. It's like, all right, cool.
It's something I did, man. What you want me to do, man? JBL, by what I heard, was Brawl. Wow.
That happened.
Hey, I don't know about anybody else. I love training for it. That's one of the things where it was a sit sandwich, but you know what I liked on that shit sandwich? The jalapenos. Let me tell you about that's pretty much what he was saying.
You know what would have really put that over and stuff if JBL just came out to the ring drinking a fucking Budweiser and then just throws it on the ground and goes to the ring or something. That would have really hyped it up.
Can't do that. Steve Austin was the only one. No, Steve wasn't drinking beer at that time.
Nah, not yet at least.
Nah, not yet.
Not yet.
Ooh.
Not yet.
Ooh, I guarantee you. Hey Vince, I got a beer in my hand. I want to drink it on my way to the ring. Can I do that? No, you can't. Why would you do that? Stupid.
2 years later, Austin does it, and fucking JBL was like,
exactly,
bro.
No, you're like this. Like what? Don't worry. I'll talk to the old white man. All right, I get something for us. Hey, Vince. Sorry. Hey, Mr. McMahon. Yes.
Acolyte Protection Agency.
How you like that? Yeah, how you like that? Even Ron Simmons, one of the strongest niggas that was ever made,
code switching,
has to still put on his white person voice.
He still got a code switch.
Yes, Mr. McMahon. Yes, I was really talking to my partner, Mr. Bradshaw. Yeah. Think about it. Acolyte Protection Agency. No, we just sit down. We have
play cards,
take
money.
I know a bar. We can use it. We be at a bar and stuff, and we just beat guys up. Yeah, I like it. Like, wait a minute, you're just beating up guys in a bar? You're like, yeah, you could like have other wrestlers there. That'd be cool. I love it. Wait a minute, you need a catchphrase. Damn, I need one. That one. Damn,
Right
all
there.
right. Damn, all right. Like I said, even for JBL, as I said earlier, he ended up becoming quote unquote a wrestling god. It worked out for him. You know what I mean?
I'm one of those people that
unfortunately the only person that didn't work out for was Bart and Steve Williams.
I'm one of those people that when JBL went solo after APA, I was like have reservations a little bit, like how's Bradshaw going to work? And then when he went full Dallas, I was like, all right, I see the vision.
Do you know what I liked? I hated him, couldn't stand him. And then this motherfucker had the nerve to go to the border to get illegals. Wrestling God.
It was perfect.
Down to the last minute detail.
Yes.
JBL was the best. Racist JBL. Oh, I loved it. What happened to Vince Russo? Everything he got a
yeah. He went to
ended up working at TNA with Jim Cornette, and Jim Cornette said,
Take this shit no more, man.
Do you imagine you're Jim Cornette and you're like, all right, I'm going out to Green Pastures. I'm at TNA. Let me go ahead and have Double J out. All of a sudden, hey, what's going on there, Jimmy boy?
"Oh no, that's him." Last time we talked, bro, he said he was going to choke me. He was going to like put a. He said he was going to rape my mom. I didn't understand why he said that. He never met my mom, bro. You're totally out of hand for saying something like that. I ain't saying nothing like that. You piece of shit. I'm not going to cuss like Jim Cornette. I'm not.
Oh God, I wish I was a fly on the wall to see both of them button heads in TNA.
And of course, the Godfather, who would end up becoming one of the most memorable mid-card wrestlers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
He knew his role, and it worked.
He worked that role. And for him to go into the Hall of Fame, I thought it was cool because it's like I was a Godfather, I was Kamala, I was the very fun fan favorite of niggas of my generation.
Papa Shango.
Oh man, Papa Shango was a short time, but Papa Shango was the nigga. He was the man. That was a short gimmick. Papa Shango.
My dumb ass didn't know he was Papa Shango when I think it was like when he was the Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot, I think Undertaker brought it up like, oh, when you were out here as Papa Shango. And I was like, hold on, time out. He was Papa Shango. I was like, did Undertaker break kayfabe? What's going on here?
It did. Yeah, it did the fact that he was a known, like he was a known guy in the Midwest. I mean, not in the Midwest, in the South, in the Mid-South region.
Yeah,
he was known down there and all the rest of that shit.
Yeah, cool guy.
For him. It worked out for him big time, man. Again, the only person it didn't work out for was Bart Gunn. And, you know, that's it. I gotta have somebody else.
Oh man, but yeah, I just remember when they announced Dark Side of Wrestling and they said like the Brawl for All, I was like, oh my God, I need to watch this because I remember the matches, but I never knew the backstory on like certain things and stuff. I remember after the Brawl for All, I knew something was off, but I just ignored it because at that point everybody was all in on Mankind, Stone Cold, and all that shit, so you just ignored it. So knowing all the backstage shit, like, oh, there was actual bullshit going down. Like, oh wow.
I remember like when Dark Side of the Ring announced that they was going to talk about Brawl for All. Dwayne during one of his lives, a fan had asked him about the Brawl for All and if he had ever thought of participating in it or if his name was brought up during a creative. And he was like, oh, I remember the Brawl for All. And thank God my name was not brought up to be a part of the Brawl for All.
The Rock. You talking about The Rock, right?
The Rock.
Wow.
Oh,
And
no.
the Rock was on the come up at that point. So why the
Yeah,
fuck?
because it was like Rocky Maivia, like
Oh yeah,
Nation
he was.
Domination.
Right. Yeah, I
No,
forgot.
he was still Nation
Yeah,
Domination.
he's still Nation. He's still
But
Nation.
even then, they was like, I would imagine they're like, nah, he's in the program doing this shit. We're not going to use him. I think that probably saved him. He was like, nah, he's a mid carder. We just put the IC on him. We probably all right.
Yeah. Look, I'm surprised Farouk's name didn't get brought up in that shit.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it did.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Ron's name came up.
What the hell you want me to go in there? I ain't hit nobody. What the fuck you want me?
Mark Henry staring off like, don't look at me. Shit.
No. No. That was during the time where Vince was protecting him.
Oh yeah, I forget. Yeah,
Remember, Vince was protecting him until one of the coolest stories ever, where finally he was like, hey, yo, Vince, I got to be the strongest man again. Everybody's saying I'm being the strongest man. And Vince was like, I get it. Okay, you know what, Mark? Go ahead. Hey, Mark, WWE has no room for the second strongest man in the world, meaning that if you get in second place, you don't have a job here. Mark went over there, broke records, and I still think he has a record that hasn't been broken.
I think he still has like
one record that still ain't been broken yet. Oh yeah. There have been plenty of strong men after him that proved it, but he still has one record that a lot of it was like, fuck you, I ain't beating that shit. I forgot which one it was. I think it's like a quick pull or something, but it's
I think it might have been the quick pull.
It's one of them, but it was like, nah. What Mark did, hey, it's going to be a minute.
So wow, somebody gonna have to come out and be non-juiced in order.
But I guarantee you, it probably did come out, and they immediately shot that down. Like hell no. I'm not having my Olympian go out there and get dropped. Have to do that. Went to Japan over there and dropped a whole lot of niggas on their heads out there and risk it.
According to Wikipedia, Henry remains the youngest man in history to squat more than 900 pounds without a single squat suit, as well as the youngest to total more than 2,300 pounds raw.
His quads and just
in other words, we're waiting for another kid. We're waiting for another prodigy like him to come through.
I was gonna say another one that I'm seeing via Google. His unofficial records outside of competition are a squat of 1,006 pounds, a bench press of 585, and a deadlift of 925.
Oh God! How did you have children and not kill your wife? I know she was on top, but you got a lot of belly, nigga.
Because Big E benched 575.
Big E is so funny. Big E and John Cena are what you call power lifters.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's the difference between a power lifter and freaking the mountain that was on motherfucking Game of Thrones. All right, power lifters are dudes that dropping type niggas. The world's strongest men, they pick up cars. 1,
2, 3. Why can't we pull in a whole ass plane?
Like power
2 miles and shit.
The bus.
He
pulled a bus on WWE.
Yeah.
Now I looked at that story. Like, was that real? Oh, a lot of people thought it was fake. No, it was real.
It was parked. It was parked, and he.
It was parked, and he pulled it.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know how official a record it is and all the rest of it, but it was on TV, and it's like, nigga, you do it. You know what I mean? It's one of those, man. And I thought it was very, very cool how they did that, how it happened, because it was a legit black moment too. If anybody's saying that, it's a real legit black people's moment, because you see him doing it, and you got Titus and Darren Young like, come on, bro, you got it, baby, you got it. And of course at the end he got it. They all hugging on, and Mark over there like, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, you did. And black people, where we do that thing where we choke up, when we don't cry. You did, my nigga. You got it, baby. You did. You heard Darren Young's voice crack. Mark, remember that was the time Mark was like this. That's what I do.
So
that's my nigga.
I just found it. It was Mark Henry's world record double tractor trailer pull from SmackDown, May 10th, 2013.
It was 2013. Okay, cool. I thought it was actually like a year or so or above that. Okay, cool, man.
You know who I really would love to see backstage? I want to see Undertaker's reaction to that brawl fall. Just see him laughing just at the shit show that it was.
I will give Vince Russo that one thing because I think he's not lying about that. When it came to some of those fights, it was standing room only in the locker room. And I hate to be this person. I would love to know how that locker room reacted. But I can guarantee you one reaction. Oh, he hit him. Hey, Steve ain't getting up. Oh. Pop. Oh. It's just everybody just hearing the announcement. It's just cool. You just imagine y'all hear that 1998 TV blaring, but all the rest is just staring like, oh shit.
Oh damn.
No. And look here. I can tell you this happened. X-Pac and Triple H. This is all you saw. And look, all of a sudden you just see what? Nothing. I guarantee you that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Everybody was like, oh shit.
Dog.
I think the only person that was talking was probably Shawn Michaels. Well, looks like Vince just lost $5 million.
Bart Gunn, after winning the Brawl Fall, goes backstage thinking he gonna get fanfare, and everybody's looking at him like, look what you did.
Boy.
You in trouble.
Hey, what's up, man? You see Vince yet? All
right, man. Good luck.
Just Shawn Michaels instigating that shit like, oh man, Bart, congrats, man.
I gotta say, what you did out there was amazing. Hey, you want a Quaalude? I know you want one, man. No, you're gonna want one. Vince wants to see you. You know that, right?
Meanwhile, Bret Hart and WCW watching it stares at 4-10. Like, I'm glad I left that shit.
Right.
Just to join NWO and get.
Oh God.
But yeah.
No. Now imagine everybody at WCW watching that live in the locker room. When that happened,
Nash Hall Kiki in the back.
They definitely were Kiki.
When Steve Williams hit that ground, here's Bret Hart.
Now everybody is seeing what I have seen for the last couple years.
See what this is what Vince does. No, this is what Vince does. Guarantee you, Nash. I don't think that was Vince. I don't think this is Vince.
Scott Hall, yeah, I don't think that was Vince.
I don't think this is Vince either. Kevin Sullivan. I hate it. No, it had to be Steve. You know that's what all the WCW people that know Steve Williams. Oh, it was Steve. You know they ran back there. You know about that Booker T walking in. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Dr. Death?
Stevie Ray in shock, like, oh my God, my mentor.
No, Stevie Ray walked in. Like, get out the way. God damn, what happened, man? What happened? We just had a match. We was out there, we was out the ring. We didn't know what happened.
Dusty can't believe it the whole time.
Boy, Dusty was like, whew. Jim told me that he was supposed to win the whole yeah. Who else on that whole thing was supposed to win this whole tournament?
Brock Gunn wasn't supposed to win it.
No. I don't know who the hell. Who was that? Brock Gunn. Wait, No. You got no. Actually, he would know that because here's another thing. WCW and WWF hated each other. They watched each other religiously. Mm-hmm. So they're like this. So that's the dude off the smoking gun, isn't it?
Yeah, the smoking gun. That's Bart Gunn.
The smoking gun, Bart Gunn. And to let you know his old wrestler. Yeah, because he performed one time down there in Memphis when he worked for some promoter we don't know. Yeah, that Bart. Yeah. Tall, handsome little boy. What the hell? How he beat Steve? Y'all see that? Knocked his ass cold on the ground. Look at that. Look, he don't even know where he at. Hold on. I know this didn't exist back then. Hold on. Hey, what's up, Jim? I thought you told me you're supposed to win. He hung up on me. Boy, Eric Bischoff was probably like, and I told you he wasn't good enough for WCW. He was probably, yes, Eric Bischoff was probably the only person in wrestling outside of Vince Russo that was doing this.
Habibi firebombing got a missile to. If them robbers come through, then I guarantee they give it a lifestyle. He was
that whole old god wrestling. Nah,
bro. It was
NWO for life.
Oh, here's the thing too. Here's another wrestler before we go. The Funkster was backstage during that shit too. Because remember, he was there at WWE for 2 years, 97 to 99. And you know he was sitting back like,
let me tell you something.
Where Steve, I saw you. And
this is some bullshit, Steve. Steve, you remember you and I in Texas 5 years ago, I whooped your ass and I showed everyone who you were, and you had the balls to fall like that. You son of a bitch.
You left it. Why? Now you remember he was from Texas. Why did you let him do that to you? If that was me, I would have taken him by his neck and I would have raided. Right in front of Jim Ross. Right in front of him. I don't care. Boy, yo, like I said, and again, we said it back then when we said, but rest in peace to the Funker, because you know Terry Funk went right backstage. You all right? I thought you didn't see it. Did you see the last? he an old Texas nigga. You know he did. Did you see the last punch that hit you? Because I saw it. Yeah, when he went back yonder with it, I was like, oh God.
I had to look at Mick. It was like, Mick, this isn't the Steve I know.
This isn't Steve. He's been replaced with some monkey that don't know how to wrestle. Yeah, well, I love
Steve.
I miss Terry Funk. But you know, Terry passed Vince. Vince, come here. Vince, old wrestler to wrestler promoter. Why'd you say yes to this shit? You know, Vince, Terry, I said yes, but you know, look, I don't care. This isn't right. Jim, no, Cornette right there. Like, what? Did you tell him that this was stupid? Yeah, I thought so. I'll talk to you later, Vince. Why did he do it? You know, this had to be. I feel like I said, if you were a wrestler that wrestled in the late 70s and the 80s, and you was in the area of that happening, that had to be the dumbest thing you have seen.
You know, Ric Flair was sitting backstage, and Ric Flair had to be sitting back like, the fuck just happened? What?
So, like, no one's, remember, this is when Rick was mad at everybody. So, see, Vince doesn't know what he's doing. Bischoff don't know what he's doing. I work for idiots. Yeah, I just work for idiots. Like, I work for idiots. They I'm sorry. I work for idiots. Rick, I want a divorce. What the fuck, bitch? I'm sorry for accuracy, y'all, but Richard Flair put a lot of his real life out there. So look, anyway.
Game is the game.
Game is game. Thank you. Game is game. He was Chris. Game was game. He was never home. That's why it happened. Anyway.
So if we ever do this, I'm still with you on jumping on for the pipe bomb shit.
Yeah, when I say pipe bomb era, it was one thing I wanted to do this whole little line of stuff and all that. But what I decided was we're going to just jump around wrestling all the time. I think the next one I will do, and I think I'm really interested in doing, is not the exact pipe bomb, but really what set off the whole era, which was the day the Nexus over. Now, here's the reason. Now, like, I can just give a brief little preview of it, but really what happened was the plan I want to do is not only talk about that day, but the pipe bomb day too. Those 2 days are amazingly almost a year apart and almost identical in structure of how it was booked that night. It was really weird if you look at the comparisons. Now, granted, the day the Nexus came out was peak PG era WWE. Some of the worst cornball shit ever. And it happened at the end of the night. And then when you go to like a year later, you can tell that WWE was like, okay, we can't do this little goofy shit no more. We can't be like they kind of toughen up, but it was still wasn't winning fans over. And John Cena just lost to Sheamus, which is funny because now everybody loves Sheamus. We respect the hell out of Sheamus.
Back then,
At the time, people were still like, great, Triple H's guy is going to win. Great, John Cena's going to wrestle him. There's another one, yada, yada, yada. What's CM Punk doing out there? What did ECW? What's going on? So, yeah, I think those two, it is weird how those 2 days actually really sync up to each other because the bullshit that happened in between those days is very important, too. Because all the build-up that happened to the pipe bomb, first I can't stand CM Punk. I would throw a baseball at the back of his head right now. As much as I can't, I got to admit, what happened for that whole time was once in a lifetime, and it was actually genius.
Oh, absolutely.
The combination of Punk hyping Vince up and saying, Vince, this is what I'm talking about. Vince was like, all right, Philip. I want you to go out there, and I want you to bury me.
Let me have it.
Let me have it. Put it in my face. Don't say that, Vince. Don't say that, Vince. You know what I mean.
Rip me a new one, damn it. I'm giving you the opportunity to actually rip me a new one. And if you don't rip me a new one, Phil, then you might as well not even come back into a gorilla.
That is the truth. Here's the funny thing about Vince. That whole thing was hyped up by Vince, too.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because what was said was one of the coolest things that ever happened, which was one of the coolest things of how I knew the wrestling business is not where everybody see it is. Because when he said when Punk got back in Gorilla, everybody was like blown away that it went down the way it did. And the reaction was like hot. Vince put his arm over Philip's shoulder. And I don't know what he said, but I know he said this. You hear him? You hear him? Marks! You hear him? John, get out there and say you laugh. You agree with CM Punk. Yes, it was a double show that night. It was really weird. So everybody at home, we were like, what the fuck? Everybody in Las Vegas, hey y'all, we got 2 more hours. We good. We're gonna get some answers.
I forgot that was a double taping.
And guess what? It was so genius with it that even when all that happened, the way it was structured afterwards, people were still like, what's going on? Because if you watch that Raw, people are still booing, question marking. It added to all it. Vince set that up so well, yeah. And then they went on tour for about a week or so over in England, which hyped it up even more. And then when they got back to America, that's when they hyped up the whole thing about Cena versus CM Punk.
And Money in the Bank.
We saw one of the greatest matches in WWE history.
Oh my God, yes.
Which I will give that moment above the second match, but I think the second match they had was actually the better match. The one they had on Monday Night Raw, who was going to face The Rock.
Oh yeah,
and
Cena out of nowhere hit him with a Hurricane Rana.
That was CM Punk legit going Fire Pro Wrestling using all of his moves multiple times. And on top of that, using a Rainmaker, and on top of that, he power drived him.
Bro,
yeah,
it was awesome.
I remember vividly because D posted on Facebook when Cena did her Karada, throws up rainbows like that.
It was amazing because remember, anytime that was during that time where Cena actually did take a risk for a type of wrestler he was by doing that guillotine off the top rope. Like that, yeah. It's not a big for Cena, yeah, because he was literally doing a famouser off the top rope. For him, he had to be accurate with that shit. But we knew after that he had that too many moves, and everybody was like, "Oh, Cena can't wrestle."
5 moves.
And I remember during that whole little strip of Cena can't wrestle, Cena will break out a move or two. I remember during him and CM Punk, they said you can't wrestle 10 minutes in. Cena goes into lighting up CM Punk on that floor. And here's the worst part. Hey, Punk, I think Cena can wrestle better than you.
My
No, I'm
eyes
not saying like
deceiving
a
me?
better wrestler, but if you see the way he was moving and doing, like, I think, hey, Punk, either you're selling very well or Cena's a lot better than any of us think.
Right.
So it was a weird little thing, but yeah, but those two nights are interconnected, and I think that would be the next little fun thing for us to talk about, especially the night the Nexus took over, because it was one of the most fun nights in the world when WWE said vote in and every match was fixed, and even down to the results, you're going to be like, this is stupid.
Jason, it's like the dial the number to see if Jason Todd lives or dies.
It was on that level. It was really like that, man. It's one of the bad ones. But anyway, that's it, man. That's it, bro. That's it. I think I went a little bit over that. But yeah, that's it, man.
Appreciate Denzel being on and being a good sport, considering, his Diamond Dolls got beat this past Monday.
Why? See, you motherfucker, you.
Where was the pain, Jameis?
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere. So we got to keep.
I felt bad for you, Denzel. Don't get it twisted. It was like this was like the Shawn Michaels Ric Flair where you look at him and be like, sorry.
Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. I hope DeMarcus Lawrence told him very well in his ear.
Teach your man how to squabble. Get that trigger next time, nigga.
DeMarcus fucked that nigga up, man. I will say this, Justin. Look, real quick. Your coach is gone.
Oh,
I
he's
know.
gone after this season.
Oh,
After this season,
I know.
I still don't think he's going to make the
This
season.
is what I've been
I
telling
still
people.
don't think he's going to make the season. We'll see.
And this is what I tell people. That I'm like, listen, I have faith in Kellen Moore because clearly, like, he's doing well with the offense.
Oh yeah.
But the fact that we have a man as a head coach who people said was a defensive genius. Motherfucker, where's the genius? Where's the defense?
I don't know. It went home. It never came back.
I'll tell you this much as far as NFL coaches go. I listened to an interview with Dolphins coach Mike McDaniels. He is the most well-spoken, just rational coach that just talks. Like, you don't feel like he's bullshitting you. He just like, this is how I got to X, Y, and Z. I did this and I did that. I worked under Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan, da 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 da. And just the way that he just talks about everything is like, this is he really isn't for like spilling tea. He just, hey, this is what happened. This is how I go about this. You're gonna have hard times, and that's that.
The Broncos could have picked him up as their head coach. Because that's
Like,
what he wanted to be. He wanted to be a head coach for the Broncos.
Like, the best thing he ever said in the interview was, it's easy to win, but he says the best show of adversity is when you go on a 3 to 4 game losing streak. How do you recover from that? And he said is where your adversity gets tested, when you do that. Like, anybody can win 1 or 2. Woo. What do you do after 3 losses, 4 losses? What do you do after that?
The reason why coaches keep jobs is because of that shit. Like, the one reason I mean this to a lot of people, even though we had probably 1 or 2 bad years with him in that regard, was the reason why we kept Jason Garrett around wasn't because he was a yes man. It's because every time we were ready to fire him, this man found out a way to get us out of a losing streak, and we barely made it into the playoffs. Those are how coaches keep jobs.
Yep.
Brendan Staley does not have an ounce of that in him.
No, he doesn't.
He has no dog in him.
Yeah,
I wish he had an outlet. Look.
Well, he had the dog in him against that reporter when they were fucking getting on his ass about fucking losing the close games. He's like, "What the fuck you mean?" I'm like, "Oh, now your balls drop. What the fuck?"
Right, but it's still though. It's like because this is week. So we're like 2 and 3. We should at least be
3 and 2,
3 and 2, 4 and 1 at best.
4 and 1.
Or 4 and 2. We should be 4 and 2.
You're right with a 3 and 2.
Yeah. We should be at least like 4 and 2 at best. Because of the fact it's like, bro, like why are you going for it at 4th and 1 in our own territory with less than 2 minutes to go? Punt the damn ball.
Yeah.
And cross your fingers. Tuck your head between your legs, kiss your ass goodbye, and just pray that the defense holds the lead. That whatever play you have their defense make.
No. Darwin James, Bosa, the best secondary in the whole league, Denzel.
Listen,
Hey,
I'm holding myself accountable. I am holding myself accountable, D. I'm holding myself accountable.
You did it. You didn't make that very clear. I really don't have no ill will for the Diamond Dogs. I don't. Next to Chris, I'm always calling them the Diamond Dogs. They don't belong in LA.
No, they don't.
But it's like I have no ill will to them. I kind of like Hibbert. And you know what? I hate to be that person. All right, Eckler. You tried in college. You won me in the NFL. You're good.
Herbert's in the same category as Dak.
You're good, Eckler.
You
can't stay healthy though.
I'm gonna say no. Herbert can stay healthy, but
I'm talking about Austin. I'm talking about
Austin. Yeah. But my thing is, it's like you look at the guys that we have on defense.
Mm-hmm.
We should be knocking motherfuckers' teeth down their throat.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look on paper, you got Khalil Mack, you got Joey Bosa, we got that rookie linebacker Thule that has been lighting up just as well. Like I said, we got Derwin James. We got some solid hitters that could punch your teeth down your throat. But because of the fact that our coach is just dropping the ball on defense.
Also, and personally, I think the development of Asante Samuel, both of them, they're still cool. Well, they're going to be in the next 2 years because it looks like they kind of. I mean, and I really don't like that. I think they're still good. I think they can be good. I think Asante Samuel might be solid, nickelback though. I think he might be a solid nickelback and actually might be decent like that. But I don't like the way they're developing. Ever since I don't blame it because Darwin James did the right thing by getting a bigger contract and immediately getting his shit broken. So I think that kind of hurt the development of those two a little bit, man. But I feel like there's a lot of wasted potential on this team, man.
There is
a whole lot.
Like I said, like you look on the offense. The offense is clicking. But it's just that defense. Again, we need a solid defensive. I ain't even gonna say defensive mind, but we need someone that is going to be aggressive. I'll say this about Brendan Staley. I appreciate that he's showing the world that the Chargers are going to be aggressive. I love that. But you gotta be smart when you're being aggressive. Like I just said, if you're gonna be aggressive when it's 4th and 1 and we're in the opponent's territory and it's 4th and 1. Not when it's 4th and 1 at our own 25-yard line.
I will say this, and this last thing I will say about your team. You got Kellen Moore. All I will say is the unfortunate thing about Kellen Moore, much like Kyle Shanahan, is that his offense has no such thing as called an off switch. Have fun with that. So Dallas knew that. That's why motherfucking Dak threw dumbass picks. So like I said, when you have an offense that has no off switch, it makes any quarterback of any caliber look like a fucking idiot. So that happens, man. Warren Moon's last 2 years in Houston is a big indicator of having an offense that had no type of an off switch, and it wrecked his career a little bit. So yeah, I think, I think you have him, and I think, like I said, you have Kellen Moore. So good luck with that. But also, every time I talk about your team, blame Urinating Tree. Because every time I talk about them, I hear that song off of Metal Gear. Ooh, do, 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 do. Ooh. I hear Metal Gear music. And the only way, and yes, I would hear, what was the name of that song, Chris, at the end of Metal Gear 1? The best is yet, was it the best is yet?
Best is yet to come.
Yeah, every time y'all lose, it like, if God forbid one of your players get hurt, that one of your good players get hurt, that's the song I hear. When I heard Austin got hurt, that's the first thing I heard.
Meanwhile, Keenan Allen is the man that can't die.
Oh, if Keenan Allen gets hurt, I'm going to do a whole thing. I'm going to show clips. I'm gonna show the clip of him getting carted off and have an overlay of clips of him catching balls, and you hear war is hell. Yes, I would, man. Because Kellen Moore doesn't deserve none of that. I mean, not Kellen Moore. Keenan Allen don't deserve none of the shit that's happening to this team. Him above everybody else. He finally got a quarterback that's good, that's not going to drop another child and his wife irresponsibly. He has a good quarterback.
He's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man.
Savannah, though, nigga.
He's a good man, Savannah. He's a good man. The only thing this man cares about is brisket, is his victory brisket. He ain't worried about popping no babies. He's worried about popping a brisket.
Oh man,
Christ.
All right, that's it.
But anyways, that's it, folks. We'll see you guys later.
Working titles for